Hey guys, it's Troy. Welcome to another episode. Dating as a mirror for self-creation. Dating as a mirror for self-creation. This is quite an important concept, so I want you to think about this one carefully and try and follow what I'm going to say here. So what I want you to do is to flip the whole notion of dating on its head just for a moment. So most guys go into this, or they seek to improve their dating skills, obviously because they want to get a girlfriend, they want to get a wife, they want to improve their options in what is a difficult dating marketplace, okay? So if they're not having a lot of luck, they will come to content like this or other things online, other channels or other books or articles or whatever online in order to try to improve their skills. And all of it is with the purpose of being able to communicate better with women and to be more magnetic for women, okay? And that's fine on one level, that's fine. That's what I teach, that's what we teach. It is possible to learn it. There are things you can do to get better. We do mentor guys, we do have success in mentoring guys all over the planet. I personally have taught hundreds of guys, if not thousands of guys with online content, and breakthroughs can be made, there's no doubt about it. But I want you to flip the paradigm on its head just for a moment and think instead of the end game being, I want to meet this wonderful woman and have a great experience with her, or I want to meet this wonderful woman and have a relationship with her, or make her my girlfriend or my wife or whatever. I want you to turn it around and instead think about each interaction that you have as a mirror for creating yourself. A mirror for creating a better version of yourself, okay? And Mark Manson famously said that all dating advice really boils down to self-improvement. And he's correct, because when you scrape away the surface, a lot of what I teach, a lot of what James teaches and other colleagues of mine teach is really self-improvement. I mean, yes, through a dating lens, for sure. But you need to make sure the fundamentals are right, okay? You want to be in shape, you want to be well dressed, you want to be stylish, you want to be well groomed, you want to be able to communicate well, etc., 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 okay? So a lot of self-improvement is involved. But what about taking it one stage further? And what about if the dating that comes as a result of that in itself was also used as a tool for self-creation, okay? This is something that occurred to me quite recently, because I was thinking, when you go on dates, right, often, particularly as a younger guy, you know, you'll go on dates and you will want there to be a certain outcome, okay? You will want the girl to like you, you will want maybe her to kiss you, you will want maybe to, you know, some kind of intimacy to happen at the end of that date, okay? And if not, maybe you'll want a second date to occur and to go from there, okay? You will want some sort of specific outcome. Again, fine, no huge problem with that. But what about if you went into each date and each dating interaction with the purpose, the outcome being, I'm going to learn more about myself and about women and about relating to women and about social interactions in general? What if that was your outcome, rather than, to put it crudely, I want to meet this girl and then I hope that I sleep with her, okay? What if your desire instead was, I'm going to meet this girl and I'm going to learn something from the experience. I'm going to learn something about her, but I'm going to learn something about human nature in general, female nature in general, and I'm also going to learn something about myself in relation to that, okay? I think if we could adopt that as our raison d'etre, if we could adopt that as our North Star, you know, our guiding principle, I think that would be a lot better, okay? Because we often talk about not, you know, being outcome independent, right? We often talk about the need to not concern ourselves too much with the outcome, and it's good advice, because if you're sitting there on the edge of your seat for the entire day thinking, oh, I hope this works out, I hope this works out, I hope this works out, I hope she likes me, I hope she likes me, I hope she likes me, then the energy that you are emitting is necessarily going to be needy. It's going to be, you know, like you're trying to get something from her, and even if only subconsciously, she's going to pick up on that, and that's not really going to do you any favors in that situation, okay? If your energy instead is, I am using this, I don't really care in a way what the outcome of this is between you and me. What I care about is what I learn from this. What I care about is the knowledge and the experience that I glean from this that I can then take on and use in other situations, okay? And I can tell you from my own personal experience that my social antennae now is pretty acute. You know, my sense of whether somebody likes me or not, whether I'm being engaging or not, you know, my ability to read the room is, I mean, obviously sometimes we make mistakes. I mean, nobody's infallible, but I would say it's pretty good. And this is coming from a baseline of being somebody who had no clue about social interactions when I was a younger man. Absolutely no clue. You know, not being able to hold eye contact with women and even other men, not being able to hold eye contact with people. That was the baseline that I came from, okay? And now I'm, I believe, pretty adept at going into social situations, very quickly gaining rapport with people, making people like me, and more than that, sort of pulling them into my world, if you like. But not in a narcissistic way, but more in a sort of way where, you know, genuine curiosity as well, super important. So if I go into a date situation, I'm genuinely going to be interested in that person, in finding out more about that person, and not superficial stuff like, oh, where'd you like to go out? You know, where'd you like to eat? What's your favorite kind of food? I'm talking about genuinely trying to understand that person. How do they think? How do they feel about the world? All right? What are their influences? What are their inspirations? What do they hope to achieve on their brief time on this strange spinning globe that we find ourselves inhabiting, right? What are their dreams, their hopes, their loves, their desires, okay? This is the stuff that I really genuinely want to find out about, okay? And so I believe myself now to be very adept in these situations of very quickly cutting through the sort of small talk nonsense and getting to the heart of things, and in doing so drawing people into my world. And I say people because I'm talking about dating experiences, but I'm also talking about, you know, meeting other guys, if it's on a professional level or if it's you know, on a social level or whatever, because this stuff is somewhat interchangeable, but obviously there are certain nuances when we're talking about dating women specifically. So what about if your goal going into every approach or every date, whether that's a date from an app or whether it's a date from, you know, having met somebody in real life, or you met somebody at the bar or a party or the hotel lounge or whatever, what about if you treated each one almost like a social experiment, where the idea was like, okay, I don't really care too much about the end game of this. I don't really care too much about whether she wants to see me again or not. I mean, obviously it'd be nice if she did, but I don't really care that much, because what I'm actually getting from this is something far more valuable. What I'm actually going to get from this is real life experience with a real life woman. I can observe her, I can see how she reacts, I can see how I react in relation to her, I can check how I feel in my body, okay, as I'm dealing with the situation. Am I feeling stress? Am I feeling anxiety? Am I feeling fear? Am I feeling excitement? Am I feeling joy? Whatever. I can track that, and I can use that data in interactions going forward, okay? It's the old, you know, give a man a fish, he eats dinner for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he eats for a lifetime, okay, right? The important thing is not so much what happens on the micro level with each of these individual dates or meetings. The bigger thing is the accumulated knowledge that you gain over doing this hundreds or even thousands of times, okay? And again, I can tell you from experience that having done this many thousands of times, that my social antennae, my ability to read the room, my ability to spark conversations out of nothing, etc., is pretty damn good. Okay, obviously, because I'm teaching this stuff. I wouldn't be teaching this stuff if I didn't have the ability myself. It's pretty damn good, okay? I'm not saying there aren't sometimes misfires, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Perfect or whatever, but it's pretty damn good. And the only reason for that is because I've done it so many times. But not only that, I've also observed and I've learned from each of those interactions. Now, somebody was asking me the other day, I did a video, actually it wasn't a video, I wrote a post the other day about AI, and it was basically saying, if you rely on AI, you know, to learn game, if you rely on AI to give you chat up lines or things to say on text, you're straying into very dangerous waters, because AI is still not perfect, and if your prompts aren't very good, the stuff it's going to give you is going to be very cheesy, it's going to seem very inauthentic, it's going to seem like try hard. I know this because we've experimented with it ourselves when helping clients, and some of the stuff it comes out with is okay, but a lot of it needs a lot of editing, okay? And if you just send stuff, if you don't really know what you're doing and you just typed into ChatGPT, give me some lines that I can say to this woman in this conversation, you're likely to come a cropper, because the stuff it's going to spew out is not going to be very good, okay? So I was basically saying, and it was a little bit of a pitch for, you know, in-person training as well. I was basically saying, look, this is why mentorship is still required. It's still absolutely not even required, it's absolutely necessary. And I stand by that. I do believe that. I don't think AI yet really understands the nuances and etc, etc. Anyway, somebody then wrote a comment saying, well, could I practice talking, you know, to AI as if it's a woman? Could I practice, you know, just to get me started? Could I use AI as a tool, a proxy for a real woman, to talk to a woman? And I was thinking, well, I mean, yeah, you probably could. And I might do an experiment actually on ChatGPT and prompt ChatGPT and say, look, I want to help students to talk to women. Could you respond as a girl if I was approaching blah, blah, blah? I'm sure you could, yes. I'm sure it would do it, for sure. But once again, why not? I mean, the best feedback you're ever going to get is real world feedback. The best practice you're ever going to get is real world practice with real life women, okay? I suspect, and I haven't tried it yet, maybe I will try it, I'll report back to you, I suspect that the stuff that ChatGPT or, you know, other platforms are available, other language models are available, the stuff that's going to spew out is going to be a bit cheesy, a bit generic, and maybe not very realistic, okay? And the other thing is that human beings are not logical, right? Human beings are emotional, and particularly women. So in a conversation with a real woman, you're going to get weird curveballs and random things happening, random things being said, maybe even other people coming into the interaction. You know, some other dude suddenly rocks up into the interaction, whatever. I was with a woman recently, and I was trying to get a taxi, and she was having a cigarette, and I turn around, she's talking to some other dude. So I'm like, well, what do you do in this situation? I mean, how's ChatGPT going to handle that? Now, I went over and just started talking to them as it was. The gentleman in question was gay, and he was complimenting her on her outfit and all the rest of it. So it wasn't a big problem. But I'm just saying that in real social situations, there are curveballs that you're not going to predict, and an AI model is probably not going to predict either. So the very best experience you can have is not messing around on AI, trying to get AI to be your pretend girlfriend that you're chatting up. A far better exercise would simply be to go out and talk to some people in real life, talk to some girls in real life that you find attractive, and fail and learn from that failure, and then do it again and keep doing it until you get better at it, okay? We've segued a little bit into the AI question here, but I think it makes sense in the context of this. In general, you should be looking at each experience that you have, whether it's an approach or whether it's a date, as an opportunity to learn, rather than as, oh my God, this is life or death, I need something to happen with this particular woman, okay? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. Do subscribe, do give me a like, etc., etc., and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.